Today we're going to be reviewing The Best of the Phantom, book number 1, published by Big Budget Books. I hope you enjoy what dangers lurk at every turn of the next 80 pages for The Phantom. And this book was originally published by Budget Books in Melbourne, The Best of the Phantom. And this book was first published, in 1985. It was first published in Australia by Budget Books 1985. And in the first couple of pages, we have like the usual, for those who came in late, like the privacy type, prophecy type discovering of the Phantom. The paper quality of it is actually quite good. It's held up quite well. It's a bit thicker paper than what you would have seen back in those days for the Phantom issues of the Phantom. We've got a little bit of an outline of where the Phantom Country, what the Phantom Country is, where all the various monuments and famous icons of the Phantom comic book strip are, roughly based on where they would be and where they would be seen in the Phantom comic book strips and stories. You have the ending of that prophecy, the man who cannot die, the man who can never die, the ghost who walks. And now we have a new story that starts right now, and it looks like it is about the twins, and it is the Treehouse. It's a story based on the Treehouse that we all know and most people know and love. So it begins like this. Diana, you look wonderfully happy. Wonderfully happy. Why not? With these two beautiful babies and him, but I feel sad. I've got to leave here, go back to my job. I'm taking the babies. Mother is dying to see them. Does he know? I haven't had a chance to tell him yet. I will right away. A nursery in the Skull Cave, most unexpected. Not at all. There have always been babies here, including me. You'll miss the babies when Diana leaves. Diana leaving? I'm sorry, I didn't she tell you? No. So it ends up happening that Diana leaves to go to New York with the twins, and the Phantom, not knowing about that, sort of says that, oh, I'm gonna really miss them. I'm really gonna miss them. I can't wait to see them next. And Diana brings the two twins back to New York, and it's just this whole treehouse sort of saga, treehouse sort of story is right after they try and make sure that General Bababoo doesn't come back and disturb anyone ever again, because he's been making trouble. And then he says behave, and then he gets whammed by the Phantom again. The Phantom says, behave, Bababoo. If I have to stop you again, I'll hit harder. Because someone called him a fat mouse, and then he went over his temper, like most people. That was, ouch, hard enough. Too bad, you're such a monster. Your energy and courage could help our country. Give me a chance so you can stab me in the back. No thanks. I'm glad to see him go. What'll you do to him? Bababoo and his gang will be tried for treason. Diana, may I have another look at the babies? Oh yes. Beautifully, beautiful. Someday must get some of my own. Diana, don't worry about leaving. Things will work out. Of course, I wish I knew how. The chopper will return in 3 days, for Diana will arrange her flight to America. I thank you, but I'm not happy about it. I understand. But don't worry, my good Mark's friend. It'll work out for the both of you. You two. What did he mean by that? So what does he mean by that? Well, he means that in the coming pages, Diana leaves and goes back to New York. When she reaches the airport to go back to New York, she brings with her 2 jungle pygmies of the Bandar Poison People. She brings with them, and they go into the airport. They fly across to New York. The Phantom is pondering whether he really misses. He really does miss Diana and the babies. Obviously, understandable. You just had them. They've just gone, and you don't exactly know when you're going to be able to see them again because you're always working. And so Diana gets home. The mother is flustering all over it. The mother wants her Diana and the baby to stay there, all that. And Diana's mother isn't entirely impressed that when they do eventually go back, they'll be having to live in that cave, she says. In that way too. So Diana ends up talking to her boss. The boss says that the President Goranda and President Luagan Goranda were opening an office in Bengala. They tell her about it, and then there's word that comes back, and while there's word coming back, the Phantom is at one of those jungle chief meetings, because the 2 chiefs want to basically try and control the water services, the water reserves for both tribes. And so they want some more than the other, and then they want more than the other one, and then they all say, now we talk, then they say everybody wins. That means nobody wins. Talk is better than kill. No? I must say yes. So they had a misagreement, and then they come to an agreement and say that talk is better than kill, which is essentially the greatest purpose and the greatest explanation on not to try and kill anyone else, and just to talk and before you kill. And so there's a cable comes. The Phantom receives that cable from Rex via a Elephant and Jumba and Katina, and the Phantom reads it. The Phantom, he says, oh, I really can't bring, he starts to imagine all the different ways that maybe there's something going wrong, maybe this has happened or that's happened, maybe it's a car crash, maybe it's an incident, maybe it was a fire. 2 babies and their mother, tisk tisk. I really can't bring the babies back to the jungle. Goodbye, sob. He's in a hurry. What was in the cable? I don't know. 7W81 calling 028-642 over. I receive you, 7W81. Long time no hear. How goes it over? All's fine here. Can you patch me into a phone line and call the following number over? Okay, 7W81 will do over. Gee, I hope Diana and Kit and Heloise are alright. I've a radio telephone transmission for Diana Palmer Walker. Oh yes, just a moment, Diana. Please, Diana. This is Diana. Hello. I'll be I'll put your party on now. Come in, 7W81. Oh, darling, how good to talk to you. Diana, are you and the babies alright? What's happening? And then she tells the Phantom about how she's going to be coming over and they're going to be making a new office for her in Bengala, and she won't be able to, she will be coming back over, and the Phantom and everyone else is excited. Darling, are you still there? Coming home. Wow, wonderful. Diana, how soon will you come? As soon as possible. Must find an office there and staff. When she finds office and staff, the Phantom ponders where they're going to be able to put Diana and the growing babies and everyone else and all that. So they go to the rope people. He tells the story about the rope people and his father and his grandfather, and then they hear the story. He does all the activities to say that he's the same Phantom as the one that came before him in the story that he just told. And then after all that, the rope people decide that he's the same Phantom. And so then they say to the Phantom, welcome, Phantom. Phantom. Greetings, Chief. Friendly. Why didn't they smile before? They save their smiles until needed. Greetings, Chief Ori. We are honored to receive you, Phantom. Ghost Who Walks, Guardian of the Eastern Dark. You have not honored us with a visit since my fatherless times, Chief before me. He thinks I'm my father. Wow. As a boy, I watched you perform the amazing feats. We talk about them still. You captured the elephant barehanded, and defeated the forest giant. Most special, how you spared the giant and showed the rarest quality in the jungle, mercy. He's talking about my father. I feel like an imposter, but it's in a good cause. So they talk, and then Rex gets a little over his head and goes, ah! And then the other jungle rope guy on the rope people's side saves him and says no. Phantom says, Rex, no more playing up here. It looks so easy. 200 feet up among the rope people. These people are raised on these ropes and spend most of their lives up here. That little boy's first lesson, soon he'll be running around up here like a monkey. Lucky, I wish I could. So then the jungle people, the rope people, figure out that because they didn't want him to miss out, they tie him to another rope and he's able to join in. And then they go down the classic, probably the first ever elevator ever to happen and be built, and they say, wow. And towards the end of this page, we have the Phantom meets the giant that he said mercy, and he wishes the Phantom, the forest giant you met in combat long ago, he's now blind. We told him you are here, Phantom. He fought my father, Phantom. I heard the story of my father and the forest giant when I was a child. Seeing him now still alive shook me up. Like, one thing that I don't entirely think that happens nowadays. One thing that you always can expect when you read Cy Barry type stories is the emotion. It's always there. It's always done very, very well. And that there, when the Phantom says that it's a great example of what I just said. Then he goes back. They end up building a treehouse. Diana comes back through a plane. She establishes herself. Then the Phantom brings her to the treehouse. He surprises her with the treehouse, and then the Phantom pretty much shows Diana around the treehouse, shows her all the different rooms and stuff in the treehouse, and it's very, very great story. And then they have a big, massive party. They have a big leopard that comes through the window, and then they tell Rex, finishes him off, and bravely throws a rock at him, a slingshot rock to the leopard's face. And then after all that, Diana still doesn't believe him, and she still probably doesn't believe him. They fix the windows, and they are now all happy as one big family. And then they have dinner with the president of Bangala. And then they have a big, massive party and dinner with all the chiefs and the great people to say thank you. And then Diana says, I believe they're staying for dinner. Phantom says, I believe all of them. They brought their own dinner, Diana. I wondered how far one roast chicken would go with 400 guests, dancing and singing until dawn. Goodbye, goodbye. Come back again. Yes, please do. But next time, advance notice, please. And there we go. The best of the Phantom. Look forward to new adventures. And that's definitely what we're going to be doing. Over the coming weeks, you'll see this review of the Phantom published by Big Budget Books, and that will be volume 1, and this is pretty much just the back cover of the book. And soon, very, very soon on the channel, I will also be reviewing, is it here? Yep, it is. Very, very soon on the channel, I will be reviewing volume 2, published by the same people at Big Budget Books. I'll be reviewing them very, very soon on the channel, this one and the other 2 in the series. And that will be very, very awesome. I haven't ever read these books before. I read this one last week or a few weeks ago before this review comes out, and it was a really, really great thing, a really, really great book, a really, really good way to experience reading the Phantom in a different way and going horizontal instead of going vertical like you normally do in a normal book. You go vertical instead of horizontal, and it sort of looks like you're flicking through like a piece of film, or you're flicking through like an old movie, sort of something like that. Like you go from one page to the next page, and it sort of feels like a seamless film / movie. And yeah, it's a really, really good book. If you have this in your collection, I encourage you, if you haven't read it already, get it out, read it, have fun. And as always, thank you for watching this review of the first volume of Big Budget Books, The Best of the Phantom.